Well, good morning, my sweet and sour chicken dumplings. Well, I was pulling out of the Costco parking lot, and I saw a homeless man standing there with his cardboard sign, and that can always be so awkward because they're standing there and they're looking right at you, and you're just thinking, oh, I'm a horrible Christian for not helping this poor person right now, even though I see him like several times a day sometimes in Federal Way. Well, I was like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna continue creeping forward, waiting until it's my turn to turn right. And then I saw him kind of suddenly hunch over and turn around so that you could just see his back. And of course it got my attention because there was so much flinching involved. And so I looked over there and I couldn't see his face, but he was kind of hunched over his backpack. I was like, uh-oh, is he having a seizure? Is he getting his seizure medication? What's going on here? And as I pulled out, I sort of glanced over my shoulder and took a double take and nearly got in a car accident because he was on his cell phone. Yep, this guy holding the cardboard sign, homeless, no job, family, need help, talking on his cell phone. Now, I shouldn't be too hard because who knows? Maybe it was a job offer and he had a cell phone which you could get for what, $30? And so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with that. That's okay, that's cool. But typically you would expect if a guy can barely shave, doesn't have pants on barely, his shoes are in just disarray, but he's talking on a rather nice looking cell phone. But anyway, I'm not going to judge him because that's not my job. Well, there I was also in Federal Way, stopped at a stoplight, and, same idea. Another homeless guy was there, and I was just like, boy, this is awkward. What a horrible Christian I am for not giving this man money. And right when the light turned green, I think that sort of was the indicator to this guy that he wasn't going to get any money because people are going to start going. The greater odds that someone's going to roll down the window and hand you something is when their vehicle is stopped. So when the light turned green, the traffic started to move forward, he immediately put his cardboard sign down and pulled out his cell phone. Checked the time. But what was curious, he didn't do it like this. He did it like this. He took it out and he tried to hide it behind his cardboard sign, and he sort of looked around and then checked the time, and then quickly put it back in his pocket. He didn't want people to know that he had a product of luxury. You could call a cell phone a product of luxury, I could say that. But my mind kind of changed regarding cell phones when I went to Africa. And you see cell phones everywhere. You see a little boy on the street with no shirt, just shorts on, no shoes. He's walking around these filthy, dirty, dusty streets that have glass in them and nails with bare feet. And yet, he has a cell phone. Wow. Now, initially I was like, whoa, kid, there's something going on here. But no. I think there's something very powerful about the drive to be socially connected, that having that connectivity in place. And I think that drive can be so powerful that it can, put a pair of shoes on hold. Or maybe, by the way, why is the camera bouncing so much? I'll have to try to fix that later. I hope it doesn't look like I'm going like this. But isn't that a profound realization that how important a mobile phone is to someone, even over having a shirt or a proper pair of shoes? Fascinating, really fascinating. But still, I have never given money to a homeless person before. And that's not because I'm this greedy little bastard who likes to hold on to my money really tightly. No, as a matter of fact, the greatest joy I have is giving my money away to people who are truly in need. And that is the key right there. Are homeless people as a whole, huge generalization, bear with me, are they a population that is truly in need? Now, I have donated plenty of money to certain organizations such as Union Gospel Mission. Actually, a bad example, I haven't given money to them. But I have volunteered even my personal time, which is far more important than money, to serve these people and serve them with all my heart, genuinely, with love. I've volunteered in soup kitchens. I don't need to pat myself on the back and tell you, you know, I've helped these poor people or homeless people. But my point is that after speaking with countless homeless people, and you will find this for yourself as well, every once in a while you will find someone who truly does not have a choice to be on the streets. Maybe it's this young kid. There's a lot of street kids out there, even in Seattle. Maybe they're prostitutes. Yes, even kids. It's a really, really sad thing. Maybe they're hooked on drugs. Maybe it's a mental thing, and they just don't have that ability to get off of the streets. That is the exception. I strongly believe that is the exception. And those people need to be helped, of course. And that's why I try to help them. However, if you speak with a homeless man, and you walk up to him and you say, hey, my name's Beau, and you're just cordial to them. Hi, Greg, it's nice to meet you. By the way, just wondering, do you know how long you've been living on the streets? I've asked that question many, many, many times, and sometimes they've even volunteered the answer before I've even asked the question, and they know it to sometimes the week. I've been on the streets for 541 weeks. Whoa. More often than not, it's just the year. I've been on the streets for 16 years. I've been on the streets for 6 years. Wow. And it got me thinking, why do they know these numbers so well? It's like, maybe it's fairly obvious. Well, they got laid off in 1998. And so it's fairly easy to calculate back. But they know it like that. It is a badge of honor. To the point where many of these people, and of course these are huge generalizations, there's always exceptions, I know, but we're talking majority here. Sociology, it's okay to generalize. They will call themselves urban campers. They're just camping, they're being innovative, they're being creative, and they're living in an urban environment and not paying for it. That's urban camping. And it's a badge of honor that they look at themselves proudly, like, hey, I am doing something that very, very few people can do. You have to have a very tough spirit. You need to deal with rejection over and over and over again. That's probably the biggest hurdle for me to jump over. If I was living on the streets and I asked people for money, it would be the rejection over and over and over again. Everybody's just like, no. So whenever I see a person living on the streets, I look at them right in the eye and I engage with them. Way back when I was sitting there at the stoplight all awkward and everything, that's when I didn't realize this about homeless people, and the fact is they are homeless. But if you want to give money to help them, give it to an entity, an organization that is designed to get them off of that substance abuse, designed to give them that mental help that many of them need. So there's so many organizations out there. I don't have to list them all, but don't just roll down the window and give them money, because that's not doing them a favor. That's doing you a favor. Not you personally, but you being the person handing them money. It's a selfish thing. I truly think it is, because it is making you feel better, making you feel less guilty about sitting there at the stoplight having this person stare at you. It's almost the equivalent of I don't know, paying admission to something. It's like, here you go. Now we're in the same club. I really, really think that. And if you don't agree with me, check your heart next time when you are tempted to slip a $5 bill into a homeless man's hand. Are you really doing that for them, or are you doing it for yourself to make yourself feel better? Take that $5 bill and give it to Union Gospel Mission. They will make that money go 10 times further. They do this professionally. They do this for a living. They're awesome people. So there you go. That's my little rant. All right. Lastly, don't limit your thinking to equating poor people with homeless people. And this, I know, I'm going to strike a nerve with a lot of Christians out there. And brothers and sisters, I'm sorry right now, but I have to say this. Whenever you are talking about serving the poor, because that's what Jesus did, and that's what it says all throughout the Bible, help out those who are in need. But it's fascinating how many times Christians immediately associate homeless people with those who are in need. That's not necessarily the case. Our society is designed so well that poor people can hide behind a large flat screen TV at home. They can just be shuttered up, and they won't tell anybody that they are poor. We just immediately gravitate towards the homeless people or the people on the streets because they're the most visible. They're the easiest to find. The truly destitute, the truly poor, I strongly believe are those who are hidden. Your next door neighbor. Get to know them, talk with them, and be willing, be free, be open about giving and lending your support to these people. So search for them. Please don't limit your thinking to just, hey, look, that person is publicly saying that they are poor. I'm going to help them. That's a huge disservice. Don't be lazy. Don't be a lazy Christian.